Hi everyone, Catherine here from Inky Fingered Cat. Back with Christmas in July, day 13. Today's theme is Christmas wrapping. We all love the pretty gifts under the tree. I actually have gone with the Alex Siberia bow die. So probably pattern paper is what I'm going to end up playing with. I once again have a very messy desk, and I will admit, I have poured a glass of wine to drink with tea, which I have just eaten. So I have got some wine on the desk. I'll do a quick tidy up and then we'll get cracking. But first things first, if you are new around here, welcome. Lovely to have you. I have had a whole load of new subscribers join this week, as the first video has well and truly done well. Yeah, I think it was just over 2,000 views as of this afternoon, which has blown me away and overwhelmed me, if I'm perfectly honest. So thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. Anyone who is watching who isn't subscribing, please do subscribe, then you'll see the future videos. Christmas in July is when I do a festive project every day for the whole of July as a video. It's quite a big undertaking alongside doing my normal day job. And the fact that I've also extra pieces of work that's come in terms of design team work. So I am slightly up the wall. The desk is a right old state because I was working on design team stuff earlier today. Right, I'm going to get cracking. Please subscribe to future videos. Please leave me a thumbs up. Please leave me a comment. I love interacting with people. But I'm going to start because I need to start. Okay, so I pulled out some very old papers. These are Papermania papers that I've probably had about 10 years. This one that I'm cutting at the moment, you'll see I was struggling a little bit. It's actually like a fabric paper, not a paper. It's already backed on adhesive, so you'll see in a second. I just need to peel that backing off and then it sticks straight down, but it gives the card some beautiful texture. I don't think that'll come across in any of the photos or the videos. Just believe me, it's beautiful texture. And it's a little bit odd to do that. I've really struggled to use it. As I say, I've had this paper pack for about 10 years. We are now coming towards the end of it, but there is still some left. Yeah, it's not easy to use, but it's very cute. It's kind of like very cross-stitchy type looking, a little bit Nordic, I suppose, papers. Okay, main event is obviously the Alex Siberia die with the bow, and I decided to go for a double bow. I wasn't sure if I'd do a double, a triple or a single. I ended up with a double. And I'm cutting out of Cherry Cobbler cardstock, which is darker than the red that's in the papers, but it still works with it. And I've made my card base, which is a 6x6 card base, out of the same cardstock. So the bits that I was cutting off there were indeed parts that were from the original piece of A4, left over from the card blank making. I did decide, however, I wanted to give some shading and depth to my little die cut pieces. So this is me just inking up with Cherry Cobbler ink onto Cherry Cobbler card. So it's very tone on tone, just giving it some depth at where the ribbon would have been tied, so only at those edges, and where there might have been some shadow. That was my attempt. As you can see, my little waffle flower grip mat is very, very discoloured now, especially because I've just used even more red on it. Now I'm just going to adhere all the pieces together. So the bow comes as two pieces that create the loop part, a central piece, which is that circly bit, well, more like an oval, and then and it is a different bow loop on each side, very similar but not the same. And then two tails, again they're not the same, they do look slightly different. And then you can basically build it up to be as big or as little as you want. And so I've gone with a doubler, and I am just sticking it together, and each time I stick it I put something heavy, so in this case the acrylic block on top, and I'm using wet glue just so I've got that bit of wiggle room, and then I'm going to leave that to dry for a bit. Now I'm going to go back to the card base. So far I've got a 5.5 inch square onto the 6x6 card. I think it's just slightly smaller than 6x6, but very close to. I've got this panel here, which I am going to mount onto the cherry cobbler. I've just grabbed myself another piece of the cardstock just because I wanted it to be just that little bit of framing to it. I thought it would work better with the bow. And this, I'm using wet glue on this part where I'm sticking it to the fabric. Because it's sticking to fabric, it's not sticking to cardstock, it just needs that little bit of extra. So again, I've stuck an acrylic block on the top whilst it dries. Now, I am using my Wink of Stella brush, which is kind of like a champagne-y kind of coloured glitter, but almost clear. In order to add some shimmer to the ribbon. And again, I'm just doing it where it would be the top part of the ribbon, not the bottom part of the ribbon. And again, it just gives it some colour variation between the different levels and gives it more dimension. And obviously, pretty and shimmery. Now, I think my front of my card is going to look like a gift with the bow on it. So now I am creating a little gift tag. And I do my gift tag out of 2 layers of well, one's vellum, one's pattern paper, and I'm just using my trusty old Stampin' Up tag punch, which I've had for years, to just do that. And at first I lay them up and just snip a little bit of the vellum off, but I think it just needs something else, so I decide to take it apart again and just using the ink that was left on my brush and then a little bit more just for the edges, just giving it a little coating of the cherry cobbler. It just gives it a little bit more separation from the background. I actually didn't really need to do the tag punch because I end up covering all of that with my bow, but that's fine. I know it's there even if no one else does. But I've just glued that down. And now I'm deciding on a sentiment, and I struggled at first. I was trying to use one that I'd already got done, but I ended up, Let It Snow is obviously a Christmas message, but it doesn't go with the paper, so I wasn't happy with that. So I flicked back through, found this Lawn Fawn Merry and thought, this is what I want to do. So die cutting the Lawn Fawn Merry out of some white cardstock. I am literally just going through scraps, and the scrap that I pulled out was actually self-adhesive. It was it's some diamond press paper. Or cardstock, self-adhesive white. I'm going to call it cardstock, but it might be paper. Let's call it paper, but it might be cardstock. And I die cut that twice in order to stack them up because I've decided I'm going to stick it over the top of the actual bow. And I just wanted it to be a wee bit thicker than it was, because if it is cardstock, it's quite thin cardstock, if you know what I mean. That's where I'm at with it. But the fact that it's self-adhesive means it's dead easy. Peel the backing off and there we go. Nice and easy. And that is the front of my card done. But I need to do the inside of the card. And I turn this into more of an industry than I normally do. I normally try to make an effort with the inside of the cards. This year it's been very much about making effort on the inside throughout the whole year rather than just leaving them blank. So I popped a bit of the pattern paper, mainly because I've had this pattern paper for so long. I am at the point of just use it up. Don't be skimping. Don't be scrimping on the pattern paper. Pop it all in. So I did that with the offcut of the fabric paper, and then I've still got that tag. I'm still not 100% happy I've finished the inside. So I used that little tag of the cherry cobbler and another piece of pattern paper, which I just trimmed down to make it a little bit smaller. And then that is also going on the inside of my card. But again, because I've left it with the red at the top, the cherry cobbler at the top, I want to do something with it. So I cut the Merry out again. This time don't stack it because it's going on the inside and it's already got quite a lot of bulk going on there, but I'm going to stick that over the top. And then this piece of pattern paper scrap, I'm just going to punch out the circle. It's not quite enough to be a full circle, but it's enough to look like I've just cut it off the edge of the tag. And now I'm done. Now I'm done. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I love that Alex Siberia bow die. I think it's really cute. Dead easy to use, dead easy to layer up and make some really effective bows for on the top of your cards. Please do, as I said earlier, subscribe if you want to see more. I've had a whole load of new subscribers, recently, so really lovely to have you on board, and certainly it helps if you hit the notification bell to know when the next video is coming, which during July is going to be tomorrow, because I do one every day. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time.